DJs BrewTube beer review. Today's a special day, guys. I'm going to do the first beer out of my mega trade with Clement's Homebrew. Shout out to Kevin and Christian. You guys are awesome. And it's going to be today, what? We're going to Russian River Brewing Company out of Santa Rosa, California, US of A. And we're going to have Pliny the Elder. That's right. The one, the only, the mega hyped Pliny the Elder. Super hard to get. Only distributed in California and Philadelphia. But, you know what, really it's only on keg in Philadelphia because I've looked a lot of times and it's never there. Every once in a while they get bottles, but not very often. So, I remember watching a video a long time ago, don't know how long ago, maybe even over a year ago, of Chris Steltz at Beer Geek Nation. Shout out to you, man. You do awesome videos. And he said you're not a beer geek, basically, until you pop your Pliny the Elder cherry. So, I'm going to do that today. So, without further ado, Pliny the Elder, we got a DIPA, probably the prototype of DIPAs in North America. When this beer came out in 2000, after a festival that, excuse me, Vinny of Russian River had, and they made this beer for that festival. It's been on the market, and it's been turning heads and making waves ever since, and I would argue in a lot of ways really is a phase change or a shift in beer world when this beer came out. So, it's 8% ABV and 100 IBUs. When it first came out, it was actually a little bit lower than 8%, but they bumped it up to 8% and 100 IBUs. So, as a lot of you know, it's got CTZ, Amarillo, Centennial, and Simcoe hops in it. So, it's supposed to be very citrus forward, piney, have a bit of a malt backbone, and in some ways, now that I've been drinking double IPAs for a while, it sort of reminds me of what a lot of the bigger East Coast DIPAs are today when they talk about that pininess. Because a lot of the DIPAs you get out in California nowadays aren't as much pine monsters as they are big up-in-your-face citrus and grapefruit bombs, just like pounding you with that citrus and other hop flavors. So, anyways, this beer is named Pliny the Elder. Why is it named that? Pliny the Elder was a sort of a botanist kind of guy that lived in Rome. And he lived from, like, say, I think it was like 23 to 79 AD or something like that. And he had written about a precursor of what we consider today hops. And his son chronicled his life and his, I guess, investigation of these hops. He was Pliny the Younger. That's why they have Pliny the Younger as the bigger, badder cousin of this that they've created since people's, as Vinny at Russian River calls it, hop threshold has changed. So, without further flapping my gums, oh yeah, by the way, Pliny died when Mount Vesuvius erupted. Kind of sucks. So, we'll drink a beer to you, Pliny, one of our dead craft beer homies, I suppose. So, let's get the cap popped on this. You know I want to save this crown. Lovely Russian River here. Let's get this bad boy in a glass. Finally, wow, I can smell the hops and citrus wafting off the bottle, and I'm at least a foot away from the mouth of the bottle. All I did is tip it, and the smoke came out. Wow, that's pretty freaking awesome. Oh boy, super clear. So, I'm going to approach this beer sort of like I did New Albion when I reviewed that beer. This is really, in a lot of ways, it's not an old beer. It's been around since 2000, but this is a history-making beer, no doubt. Wow, look at that, guys. Super clear in that tulip. I'll put it up to the camera as close as I can. Super clear, lots of active bubbles streaming up from the bottom. Really tight, khaki eggshell colored head. It's not white, it's not super dark, but it's that full-on eggshell color. Maybe like light cream. Really tight bubbles, not dissipating quickly. Put it up to this tulip, you got 2 3/4 fingers. It's settled down slightly, but it's not going really anywhere. Top's a little bit rocky, some sudsy bubbles up the top there. But, man, when you look at this, this is clear as glass. I can see my hand right through it. I can see the camera through it. Obviously a filtered beer. Unlike a lot of IPAs I'm used to, or DIPAs I've been used to drinking recently that are kind of hazy. So, let's get a nose on this. Not that I really have to lean down to the glass because I can smell it from here. Okay, let's go. Big pine. Citrus, grapefruit, and more grapefruit. Yeah, that pine and grapefruit are the dominant aromas in this beer, and there's malt sweetness, sort of honey-esque almost in the background. This is a fresh bottle. It's just under 2 months old at time of filming, So yeah, it's not the freshest bottle. I've seen guys review ones that are 5 days old and stuff like that. But you know what? In reality, odds are I'm not going to get a bottle that young out here from California to Maryland. It ain't happening. So I'm thankful for what I got. And I'm going to shut my pie hole and take a taste of this bad boy. Wow, look at that glass lacing already. See, I lied. I just said I was going to shut up. Let's give it a go. Right up front, big grassy hop punch right up in the front, grassy herbal, and there's also mixed in there that grapefruit, and there's a surprising amount of balance in this beer also. This reminds me a lot of some of the East Coast, some of their IPAs and actually DIPAs that I've drank. This beer, oddly enough, reminds me a lot of Evolution Number 3, but it's in a bigger way. It's Evolution Craft Brewing out of Salisbury, Maryland, a small local brewer. But really, really tasty beer, highly drinkable. You can really pound this, and this would marry very well with food. I can see spicy foods going with this. I've got some spicy feeling in my mouth because the family went out to the taqueria today, and I had tacos de lengua, y esquites, y que más, un tamal. And all these, we had tongue tacos and some corn and some spicy sauce and all that good stuff. But I still got that spicy hum in my mouth, and this is really playing nice in there. It's a very good beer. Is it like a mind-blowing beer after some of the other big DIPAs I've had? No. Am I going to knock it down because of that? No. Because what it is, this is the prototype that all these other beers, you can taste echoes of those other beers in this beer, echoing back off of them. This beer said, hey, make a big DIPA, and here's how it should taste. Well, all these other guys, what they did is they took it more extreme. Why? Because after this beer came out and others that succeeded it or passed it, even applying to the younger, people's ability and tolerance for hops, well, they changed and they increased. We can have even more hops. So, more is better. It's like a hops arms race or something like that. But a really, really lovely and drinkable beer. If I had it all the time, I'd get it all the time. It's a really good beer. It's a buy it again beer, and it's a shame the production when it's so limited. I know they want you to drink it fresh and all this, but that's really not either because their brewing capacity at Russian River is not that big. Compared to some other beers. It is carbonated, but spot on carbonation and sort of medium mouthfeel. By the way, look at that glass lacing sitting here. So when you spin it, you do get a little alcohol legs too, but wow, delicious beer. So what do the other guys think about it? Great beer, 100. Beer Advocate, 100. Do I think it's a 100? No. Do I think it's an A+? No. It's not an A+ beer for me. I think it's a solid A beer. Definitely, it's in that mid-level, upper-level A scale. It's not an A+, just because I have beer memory on other beers that impressed me more as DIPAs, but this impresses me for what it is, and it is a delicious beer. Don't get me wrong. Not giving it an A+ doesn't mean I don't like it, but it's a solid A beer, and it's one I drink again and buy again many times. And don't worry, I got one of these for Johnny. I'm not going to slight him. I hook Johnny up too. I wouldn't want my brother not having a beer. So anyways, guys, remember what I always say. Think globally, drink locally. Hey, if you're in Santa Rosa, California, have this all that you can because it's a pretty damn good DIPA. But, support the craft beer movement. Help guys that were winemakers become beer makers. And beer makers become winemakers. Whatever they want to do. Support those local guys. Help this stuff grow. And as always, that's a big, I don't know what else to say, I guess, but peace out.